It was a crisp autumn afternoon in Atlanta, and Monica Reynolds finally allowed herself a moment of peace. Her life as a CIA intelligence officer was a whirlwind of classified missions, diplomatic briefings, and high-stakes negotiations. But here, in Brookfield Park, beneath the towering oak trees and amidst the distant laughter of children, she could breathe. She sat alone on a wooden bench, her leather-bound journal open across her lap. The soft breeze carried the scent of pine and the sweet decay of fallen leaves. Her pen moved in smooth strokes, not crafting intelligence reports or analyzing foreign threats, but something simpler: thoughts, memories, fragments of the life she kept hidden from nearly everyone. She didn't notice the woman approaching until the shadow fell across her page. "Excuse me." The voice snapped, sharp and dripping with disdain. Monica looked up. A blonde woman stood before her, her pastel pink sweater perfectly draped over her shoulders, pearls glinting at her neck. Her expression was tight, lips pressed in judgment, her designer handbag clutched as if warding off some invisible danger. "Are you supposed to be here?" the woman demanded, her blue eyes cold and scrutinizing. Monica blinked. She could read people easily. It was part of her job, but this wasn't subtle. The woman's judgment wasn't buried beneath layers of civility. It was right there, front and center. "This is a public park," Monica replied, her voice calm, betraying none of the irritation flickering inside her. The woman's nose wrinkled in distaste. "We've had problems here. I need to see your ID." Monica nearly laughed at the absurdity. In her career, she had been in hostile territories, in rooms with warlords, in situations where revealing her identity would have meant death. And now, she was being interrogated for the crime of sitting in a park. "That won't be necessary," Monica said, her voice firm but measured. The woman's face twisted into a sneer. "Then I'm calling the police." She whipped out her phone, fingers stabbing at the screen with manic energy. Monica felt that familiar knot tighten in her stomach. Not fear, but the bone-deep exhaustion of someone who had lived her entire life knowing that the wrong move, the wrong word, the wrong moment could end in disaster. Her father's words echoed in her mind. "Your badge won't protect you from everything, baby girl." She dismissed that once. Now, the truth of it wrapped around her like a chain. The woman paced as she dialed. "Yes, I need officers at Brookfield Park. There's someone here." Acting suspiciously, Monica gritted her teeth, her hand resting gently atop her journal. The rage burned hot, but she forced it down. This wasn't the battlefield she was trained for. It was something far more dangerous: the slow, suffocating weight of systemic bias. "Hey," a teenage voice cut through the tension. A lanky boy, probably 16, skateboard in hand, phone aimed like a lens of truth, approached. His hoodie bore a graphic of a clenched fist, and his face was tight with concern. "You good?" he asked Monica, his phone still recording. "I'm fine," Monica replied, though her clenched jaw said otherwise. The woman whirled on the boy. "This doesn't concern you." "Yeah, it kinda does," the teen shot back. "You're harassing her." Monica didn't know whether to smile or sigh. The kid had guts. Minutes later, the police arrived. Two officers, Officer Daniels and Sergeant Keller, approached cautiously, their body language tense. Monica, ever the professional, kept her hands visible, her demeanor calm. "Ma'am, we got a call about suspicious activity," Keller said. Monica passed him her driver's license, but kept her CIA badge tucked safely in her wallet. This wasn't the time. Patricia, because of course her name was Patricia, puffed up like a bird defending its nest. She refused to show ID. She was aggressive. Officer Daniels raised a hand. "She's done nothing wrong." But Patricia's eyes burned with righteous indignation. She wasn't after justice. She was after control. The officers left, seeing no threat. Patricia, however, wasn't done. The smear campaign. Over the next few weeks, Patricia's vendetta grew. She posted Monica's photo on neighborhood forums, warning locals of the suspicious woman in the park. Rumors spread like wildfire. Monica tried to brush it off. She was trained to ignore distractions, but it gnawed at her. Her professional life was about precision, control, calculated moves. This was messy, emotional, personal. Then the lawsuit arrived. Patricia had filed for emotional distress, claiming Monica had threatened and traumatized her. The sheer audacity left Monica breathless. "This is insane," she muttered, clutching the legal papers. Her lawyer, Carmen Rivera, offered a grim smile. "It's not about winning for her. It's about making noise." But Carmen was relentless in her defense. She built a case brick by brick, but Monica knew the crux would come down to a choice she dreaded: whether to reveal her CIA identity in open court. The courtroom revelation. The courtroom buzzed with local media interest. Patricia sat confidently at the plaintiff's table, her lawyer, Gregory Stein, spinning a narrative about a fragile woman pushed to emotional breaking point. Monica sat stone-faced, her attorney's notes in front of her, but her mind somewhere else. Years of covert operations, years of staying invisible. She'd lived in the shadows for so long. Gregory leaned forward, his voice oily and confident. "Ms. Reynolds, do you have specialized training that might make someone feel intimidated?" It was a loaded question. Monica felt the eyes of the jury shift to her. And that was it, the moment. She opened her briefcase, the cool metal of her CIA badge catching the courtroom lights as she placed it on the table. "I'm a CIA intelligence officer," Monica said calmly. "My job is to protect this country, not to intimidate women in parks." The room erupted. Gasps. Whispers. Even the judge blinked in shock. Patricia's face paled as Tyler's video footage played on the courtroom screens. There it was, the whole encounter, Patricia's escalating aggression, Monica's calm, the lies laid bare. The jury deliberated for less than an hour. They ruled in Monica's favor, slamming Patricia for filing a malicious, baseless lawsuit. Sanctions were placed. Patricia left the courthouse alone, her reputation shattered. Full circle. Weeks later, Monica returned to Brookfield Park. The same bench, the same oak trees. But something had changed. She opened her journal again, not to hide, but to write her truth. "Hey," Tyler called out, skateboard in hand. "You cool if I sit?" Monica smiled, scooting over. "Of course." They sat in silence for a moment, watching kids play, leaves tumble, life go on. Her father had been right. Her badge couldn't shield her from everything. But it didn't have to. Sometimes the strongest armor was truth. And sometimes the most important battles weren't fought in far-off countries or dark rooms, but in public parks under the wide-open sky, where everyone could see.